Okay, so we need 29,000 points. This is the final mission of the game. You should be able to do this without any advice, but in case you need a video to look to, here we go. So of course we start off as Tails again, but instead in this hallway of having the guy with the shield, we have an artificial creature. And now we come into this room. The guy is going to release his bombs really quickly, so if you can't get a perfect or an extreme, that's okay. Now the time bonus at the end is really what's going to put us over the top, just like in the first and the fourth mission. So with the addition of more enemies though, and more dangerous than ever, as you can see, I'm just plowing through. I'm not bothering with the multiple targets as I go through the hallways with the very hard camera angles. Don't waste your time. So in this next part right here, you see we have the time stop as before, and this guy hasn't changed, which is a nice refreshing pace. But you want to have that time stop hit when you're halfway through the hallway, because otherwise those lasers will stop you from getting out. Now here, instead of having the additional 2 enemies, it's replaced it with these different cannons that I think this is the only level I've ever seen them in. I do not believe you can actually destroy them. So now we're coming into a close to the Tails area with not much more left, but this hallway is particularly annoying. As you can see, I get really close and back away, so that way they do not squish Tails and take a lot of damage. You finish off with the last guy in this level, and of course, once again, there's more lasers, which don't really do anything to slow you down. You just keep hitting the time stop going across because the timer is really short compared to the previous levels. I guess you could say it's harder for hard mode. Take out the guys, keep turning back to get the time stop because like I said, the time bonus at the end would be very, very nice. So if you've made it under a minute and a half, and you made it with over 11,000 points, you're doing very well right now. So next we're going to be doing the Eggman section. Now instead of having the 3 guys with shields in the hallway, you're stuck with a dual artificial. As you can see, you wait for them to pop their heads up and take a little bit of damage, and that's the route I would go. Otherwise you might sacrifice a lot more health than you really need to. So going up once again, we have these different little beetles that we can target. Don't worry too much about it. If you get a combo of 3, that's the really most important thing that you could get out of that. Not sure why they had those segments, but once again, now we're dealing with a couple more artificials. Well, as you see, if you just back away and wait for them to pop their heads up, then you can get the kill on them before they even damage you. So right here in this hallway, if you go fast enough, you could actually have targeted those 3 beetles that were coming at you, and the 2 that were to your left and right, respectively. Now, this room, I'm not sure if the blocks are actually faster or not, but when you come over here, it's not on the left anymore. It's actually going to be on the right. You see, I go over to the left and I see, ooh, it's actually going down, so it throws you off for a second, but if you wait for it, it's right there in the middle. It's not the literal right, but it was right to the left. So now we're almost done with the Eggman segment. Once again, hit the time stop. You're going to have guys coming from you from the ceiling. If you get the guy in the distance and target the one behind you, you should be able to get a perfect or an extreme. So if you're doing really well at this point, collecting coins along the way, rings, sorry, you're not really going to be in danger of dying. But once again, take your time with the lasers that are here, because there are more and they're in different directions than they were before. We are approaching the 3-minute mark right now. You should be able to finish under 3 minutes if you time yourself correctly. If not, that's okay. As long as you make it before 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I would say, then you are in the clear. Okay, so coming up in the next section is going to be Rouge. A wonderful thing, I've only been able to do this on hard mode, is you'll notice right away, when we fall from the ceiling, you're not going to go, you keep pressing the glide button. You should be able to do what I just did, which is save yourself probably about 10 to 15 seconds from jumping the pillar to pillar. I don't know if that was just a thing that you can only do in hard mode or not, but I always try to be pressing the glide button the moment that you enter the room. Now right here, what you are watching is not sped up footage. The blocks are actually going at a very accelerated pace, and this can be annoying to try to time up between hitting the actual time stop and having the blocks fly at you and trying to climb up. It's a little nerve-wracking, but you should be able to get the timing down. As soon as I enter the room, I take out the first enemy that I get there. I'm not sure really how fast the time stop is going to work, but this one in particular, being on the wall, is annoying. Going between the two blocks. What you're going to see in a second is I try to hit the time stop again, but it doesn't exactly go as planned. You either end up climbing the blocks or they push you over the edge, and then it becomes a waste of time. So don't bother necessarily to try to go for them unless you're absolutely sure that you're able to do it, because it's really not worth the time bonus compared to the frustration that will carry you out for the rest of the level. Now right here we're going to finish up her segment and go into Knuckles. Now Knuckles is not, it's a little annoying compared to the others. Tails and Eggman were pretty straightforward. You've been able to handle anything they threw at you before. Rouge really was not that bad. It went quicker than normal, which is kind of funny considering it's supposed to be hard mode. But Knuckles though, I'm looking around, I dive, and I have a problem with the camera angle first, and hitting this switch doesn't work out well for me in the first recordings of this. Remember, knowing your land and looking around and remembering where everything is, thinking three-dimensionally for his segment is very important because of the hard to have camera angles. Now as you see, I didn't bother with the one unit there. I'm not going to get enough points that it doesn't matter. Just go and be as fast as you can. You'll get more points that way. Now I'm looking around. Go for the switch. Once you're on there, you can just sit on there, and you could look around if you really need to, if you're facing the wrong direction. But right here we have this hallway filled with lasers that are now turned off because of the time stop. Well, they're going to come back on indefinitely, so remember you want to stay and hug the bottom. Alright, so now we have this hallway right here. You notice that I didn't go up and try to hit a time stop compared to the previous missions. That's because Act 1 does not exist for this hallway right here. Instead, you're just going to go through all these lasers like you normally do, and just hug the middle wall on the right from when you first enter. Go for the time stop, proceed through the hallway like normal, and you know that you're almost to the very end. Hit the next switch, you're almost there, and the switch that you're going to hit to finish this segment is going to be in the same location. You did not need any of the air bubbles, and you are good to go. So now you're at the 5-minute mark, or hopefully around the 5-minute mark. If you are a little bit over, I'd say if you're under 6 minutes, you should still be doing fine. Now we're going to be having Sonic. Sonic is a little bit annoying, and you may die during this segment, but that's okay, because you still have all of your different rings. They act as checkpoints. Sorry, not all your rings, all your points. But I take out the 1, 2, 3, and now they put 2 of these units in the hallway. No big deal, just more points. Give your 2 combo, and then right here you have 2 of these guys, and this is the part that you might die on, because they might get the jump on you with the laser shot. Once again, this section really has not changed, which is kind of surprising. I mean, I know there's not much they could do, but once again, give yourself some speed. See if maybe you could get the gold beetle. That's the most important thing. Right here, you can get yourself a little bubble, which doesn't really do much. But at the end, there is one more time stop that is underneath the edge, so if you didn't make it like I did, then you'll be fine. Now the reason, though, that the green bubble is important is because now we're going to go down the slide. There's going to be artificials all along the way. The big fat ones that are floating in the air. It's free points, but if for some reason you accidentally got stuck or you hit one, it'll allow you to keep your rings, because otherwise it's going to be hard to get those rings back. So these should give you enough points that you almost have the total score that you need without even needing the time bonus. That's why I said that you could probably be a minute later than what I'm at doing, and if you can't get all of the points that I was able to get, you're still going to get about 3,500 points just from time alone. As you can see, we only need 29,000. We already got the points, and it's not even counting the bonus that we're going to get at the end. So like I said, the bonus is going to be about 3,500 points, roughly, depending on your time. As you can see, I got 3,400 at the 6:30 mark. You have successfully finished the last mission of the game, and congratulations.